What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Before I get into this video, I always like to remind you guys that if you want to donate to my channel, if you want to show support to Too Raw for TV, you can do so in the links provided in the description box below. And also, I have created a Patreon account that's in the link as well. Strongly suggest you guys come over and support me on Patreon, make it Patreon Nation. And we talk about things other than basketball, talk about stuff that I can't talk about on YouTube for obvious reasons, for the very low price of only $2 per month. Now, I want to talk about LeBron James for a second. This is something that I think a couple of us on YouTube are starting to see. I have a feeling that next season, if the Los Angeles Lakers underperform to expectations, we may see for the first time prominent analysts, not just side noise, but prominent analysts start to criticize LeBron James. Now, one of the pet peeves that a guy like me and other people have, and you see even certain NBA players have said this, that one of the reasons that they don't want to go play with LeBron James is because of how the media uh, addresses certain things. Like basically, a lot of people feel like whatever team LeBron James is on, whenever they win, they get all the praise. But whenever they lose, uh, it's everybody else. Now, to a certain extent, that kind of is how it is. Like I know sometimes we get irritated by it because I think the media does it overdrive now. Like it's just so beyond the pale that it's just laughable that whenever a team that LeBron James is on and they lose, like all of the negative comments or criticisms are toward the role players, but whenever they win, it's all about LeBron. But to an extent, that's always been the case. You know, when, for instance, the Chicago Bulls will win, Michael scored 40 or 50 points, all the praise and adulations on him. Whenever they lose, it's the Jordanaires. It's everybody else. It's Horace Grant, John Paxson, Scottie Pippen, and all these other guys. Now, you kind of stop seeing that by the time of the second three-peat. You know what I'm saying? Even though Michael was still the top guy, but you just kind of stop seeing them always putting all of the onus on everybody else. But then again, the Bulls were always winning. So you really didn't see that test. You saw it with Shaq. You saw it with Kobe to an extent. But never to this degree, all right? But I think that this season might be the first time that you see the media blame LeBron. I'm going to tell you why I'm starting to think that. The media has to create a narrative, okay? And that narrative has been for the past decade that LeBron James is the ultimate winner. LeBron James does nothing but win. And just his presence alone will give you 10 to 15 wins. And he's a walking triple-double. He does, he wins wherever he goes and all this type shit. So it goes against that narrative to actually be realistic and actually call for what you see and say, well, look, LeBron, he missed some critical free throws. LeBron, da-da-da. LeBron turned the ball over in this juncture. He missed this shot. He doesn't shoot the ball well in the fourth quarters. He does, his jumper is not consistent. All of these different things you don't really say because it goes against the narrative. But if the Lakers were to miss the playoffs, let's just say somehow they missed the playoffs this year, all right, or they perform below expectations, they get kicked out of the first or second round, then you will see people, especially people who've always been resistant to LeBron James to an extent in the media, they will have many more talking points now to go for what they've been saying all along, which that LeBron James is, media creation, and LeBron James isn't as good as advertised, and blah 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 blah. Guys like Skip Bayless, whereas other people Now their talking points are they have holes in them now. Also, there's another factor to look at is the media whores out these players to us to an extent. Not against these players. I'm not saying it against the players per se, but the media tends to look at these guys as a commodity, like a like something to present to us, a product. Okay, LeBron James is not just a player; he's a product. But there are new products out that have that new smell. Guys like a Zion Williamson, like a Luka Doncic, like a Trey Young. I'm not saying he's on LeBron James level yet, but I'm just saying there are new faces in the league, new stars. Kawhi Leonard. So LeBron James, while he's still a star, he's no longer the star among all stars. There are new faces. There are new guys out there. And plus, I'm starting to think that LeBron James and Ticket talked about this in the video. Shout out to Ticket TV. Go subscribe to Ticket TV. LeBron James may be seen by some people, even within basketball structure, as getting too big for his britches. I don't agree with that, but that's how the power structure is. You have certain owners and general managers who are starting to resent LeBron James. Look what David Griffith just said. You know, I do get a sense that starting next season, maybe even starting this off season, but really starting next season, if these other things come into play, that you might see the media appear to become all of a sudden more critical of LeBron James. And that's what they do. The media, it was Kobe mania 10 years ago. The 81-point game, the 62 and three quarters, the 10 50-point games, the four straight 50-point games. Oh my God, it was Kobe mania. I hated it. Then, of course, he had the back-to-back championships. You were never foreseen in 2010 that by 2016, they would be calling Kobe washed up, the worst player in the league, all these other different things. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't foresee LeBron James playing at that level because of injury, but the media will turn on you. They will forget historical perspective. They will forget what you did before. It's always, what have you done for me lately? You know? And if they see Zion Williamson truly become the superstar that he appears he might be, I got to see it in a game to game basis to be 100% convinced about it. But when and if we see that, and if we see Luka Doncic, for instance, take that leap, that next leap, then there are other people out there. There's the Kawhi Leonard, like I said before. There's what's going on in Brooklyn. There's the Houston team. There's these other teams out there now that are threatening to take the reins of the NBA. And if LeBron James can't keep up with that, then he becomes expendable, marginalized, so to speak. Then when you become marginalized, you're expendable, and then you become just another player. And I know LeBron James fans don't like hearing me say that, but I've been watching basketball for going on 30 years now. I know what I'm talking about. That's how they treat these guys. One year, Derek Coleman was on pace to become the greatest power forward of all time. A power forward who could do it all. Rebound, score, pass, score down low, score on the perimeter, shoot the three. Charles Barkley said he was on pace to become the greatest power forward ever if he had that thing, that it factor. A couple of years later, Derek Coleman's a bench guy. Media totally forgotten about him. Not saying that he's on the level of LeBron James, of course, but I'm just saying we've seen this story before with the media. But time will tell. Lakers might win 60 games. They might make a run to the championship. We don't know. But one thing can be said about this. Anthony Davis arguably is probably the best player on that team now. This is the first year where we can seriously say that LeBron James is probably not the best player on his own team anymore. If we see the LeBron of old this season coming up, then everything I'm saying might be just a moot point. May not prove to be true. But if we see an old LeBron next year, one who is becoming more injury prone, one who is uh, a step and a half slow, one who struggles to score. Um, you know, well, when I say struggle to score, I mean he struggles to score in one-on-one situations unless he gets ahead of steam and he can bull his way to the basket, get the foul line. You know, if we see a LeBron James who's struggling to score consistently on the perimeter, which has been the case for the past couple of years, then what I'm saying might come true. The media can no longer hide just behind their narrative, and they have to address what's actually going on. The defensive. Look, I'm gonna tell you how far LeBron has fallen off as a player. There was a list that I saw earlier this week, and this list was from 2000 and I say 13, right? And they were talking about the top 10 defensive players of all time. Do you know who was number 9 on that list? LeBron Ramon James. Do we all think now, by 2019, that LeBron James belongs on any top 10 all-time defensive list? Hell no. That's how far he's fallen off defensively since 2013. That's why I say you should never project shit. You gotta go by what you've accomplished, not just project what you think's going to happen. You know, but we'll see. Tell me what you guys think about this video.